The wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Very fired up. We're making history this afternoon. We're taking a 40-year-old television sitcom, WKRP in Cincinnati, Venus Flytrap, and Dr. Johnny Fever and the crew. And we're taking the neutral ground with me, Corey Johnson. We're morphing the shows together. So Venus Flytrap's up next on the neutral ground? Question mark? Yeah, I didn't think that mixed well together. Can't go back 45 years anyway. Half that crew is elderly or even passed away. Yeah, you right. It's just the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. No WKRP in Cincinnati. You'll have to check out Nick at Night or something like that to check that program out. Got a good one lined up for you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. The rain kind of slowing down. We faded back into that sort of Portland, Vancouver, Seattle cloud cover, misty rain, no sunshine kind of gimmick. We could use just the New Orleans type of rain, like a steady rain. This little tease thing, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of too wet to go do stuff that you'd want to do outdoors. I don't know, you fishermen and hunters can pull it off in this weather. The ducks might be a-flying more in this type of weather, even colder. But other outdoor activities, even simple stuff like yard work, trimming a tree, cutting the grass, planting some plants, playing tennis or golf or one of the country club-like sports. No, it can kind of get sidetracked when it's just sort of a misty, wet, 100% humidity type, sort of dank, coldish, nasty day outside. The only thing saving it from just being a real nasty day, it's about 62 or something out there. 63, something like that. It's not 48 or 52 degrees. If it were that, it's 63. If it were 53 or 43, it'd be a nasty day because it is kind of just wet and whatever, blah. And with daylight savings time, it gets dark in an hour anyway. Anyway, rain has slowed down. We could get more. We'll see. Who knows? Boy, the weekend shaping up to be really nice. Thursday, Friday, no rain, but a little cloud cover and some wind maybe. Saturday and Sunday, absolutely fantastic. Spectacular. Should just be beautiful and sunny all weekend long. Saturday, we wake up to around 60 degrees. That means you North Shore folks, it'll be in the low 50s on the North Shore when you wake up Saturday morning. The high temperature Saturday on the South Shore, 72. You might not hit 70 on the North Shore. And then on Sunday, 54 degrees when we wake up on the South Shore. That means mid to high 40s on the North Shore. And then the high temperature on Sunday on the South Shore, 67. Supposed to be beautiful and sunny. So it looks like most of your Saturday is going to be in the 60s. Most of your Sunday, high 50s to mid 60s. Sunny, sunny, sunny weekend. Yeah, you right, weather coming our way. And yeah, don't tease us with this mist. Drop some rain out of the sky. We don't need an inch an hour. We don't need flooded streets and the like. We don't need to test the Sewerage and Water Board pumps. But we need some more, rain to saturate the ground. We're in a drought. It continues. Speaking of the Sewerage and Water Board, Steve Nelson, Deputy General Superintendent at the Sewerage and Water Board, will join us in about 10 minutes on the program live. find out about the Sewage and Water Board and failing on testing the water. The Sewage and Water Board folks that are supposed to run around town and test water at different sites, they're like the building inspectors with the city of New Orleans. The GPS doesn't line up with, their record keeping, with where they went, what they tested, what they did, what buildings they inspected, where they were supposed to be. The GPS didn't, line up. Not to go off subject, but like the take-home vehicles, the fuel cards, the abuse of the take-home vehicle and city fuel. This could so easily be monitored down to a tenth of a mile to a drop of gas if the city chose to do it. And I would imagine it's got to be north of $1 million a month in abuse. $1 million a month in abuse of fuel take-home vehicles. No, the GPS is a godsend. You got to question and wonder the folks, especially in my position or a similar position, that write an editorial, that are on TV, camera, microphone in front of them, that question authority all the time. You want to question authority when there's reason to question, like the mayor of the city of New Orleans, the sheriff. But Raphael Goyeneche at the Metropolitan Crime Commission, Ed Michel, Office of Inspector General, they're a godsend, the work they do. Question the old IG, do nothing, Derry Harper, that joker. No, you have to question folks that, GPS shouldn't be activated on city vehicles. Like folks that want to defend the criminal, that mentality in New Orleans, like criminal first, citizen second. You gotta wonder. It's like when you're doing, something with someone else, and maybe you're not tight with them. That you're new to that person, and something's going down, and they start questioning you on something that could be deviant or, hey, don't do. That's how they act. You're the honorable one. You would never even think of doing that, but that's how they think. No, it's the deviant, the person that might even have a criminal record, thinks that way, that questions Raphael Goyeneche and the Metropolitan Crime Commission, questions Ed Michel and the Office of Inspector General and the job those groups are doing right now. Thank God for GPS and watchdogs. I got news for you, folks. New Orleans is broken. Hey, so is Jefferson Parish, St. Tammany in Louisiana, just not as much. St. Tammany, you got major problems. And what your number one problem is, you refuse to implement an Office of Inspector General. You don't even have people auditing public projects. A.G. Crow, the goofball from Slidell, the hack politician that named the twin span the Naturally Nolans nauseated bridge, that stupidity and ridiculousness, that's what you get from A.G. Crow. When it was time for St. Tammany to get an inspector general, that's a CPA type person that scrutinizes I shouldn't say everyone, but at their discretion, public projects where the public money's going. And the real point of the job is just to root out inefficiency where maybe there's a better way to do it. Dollars aren't being spent properly. And then sometimes it leads to criminal behavior. St. Tammany's got about 250,000 folks, the most affluent, lots of money, the most, rapidly growing, fastest growing parish. Lots of public projects. You want those projects scrutinized. You want a watchdog overlooking St. Tammany. Don't look down on the South Shore and better than Jefferson Parish, better than New Orleans. You better be naturally. You're the exurbs. You're St. Tammany. You're not the suburbs like Jefferson or St. Bernard, and you're not the inner city like New Orleans. You better be better than the South Shore. That's expected Any city, USA. Don't stand up and, clap and applaud for yourself or give yourself a gold star. That's normal. The fact that you don't have an IG, that reeks of New Orleanians moved to the North Shore over generations and don't want a watchdog. Jefferson Parish doesn't really have an IG's office. They've got one that the politicians control. That's why you never hear from the Jefferson Parish IG. New Orleans, believe it or not, has a strong, independent, autonomous IG. Politicians can't mess with its funding. And Ed Michelle's a bulldog that goes after it. No, thank God for these types of folks. Thank God for the Illuminator and Fox 8 discovering that the Sewage and Water Board apparently isn't doing their job testing the water properly. Steve Nelson, Deputy General Superintendent with the Sewage and Water Board, joins us next. Young's Dry Cleaning, tired of your dry cleaner? Want to experience the best in the business? It's easy. Young'sDryCleaning.com. Since 1940, Young'sDryCleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Tuesday afternoon. Steve Nelson's with us too, Deputy General Superintendent, Sewerage and Water Board. How you doing, Steve?
Fantastic, Corey. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. Boy, this Illuminator Fox 8 story was pretty damning. Any general comments on that from the Sewage and Water Board? Apparently, it seems like it's true. I mean, it's kind of reminds me of the city with the building permit. The logs and what the people say they're doing don't line up with the GPS and the vehicle they've got.
Yeah, so we had the three individuals that were brought to us that information. We've looked through our GPS logs, through our sample logs, and that's what it looks like, is that there were locations that were not properly sampled. 2 of those employees haven't been working for us for some time, and we're going to take the appropriate measures there with the third, and also put into place measures to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Ross and Pierre are no longer with the Sewage and Water Board?
Ross and I believe there was Mr. Percy, I think, was the second. Mr. Louis Pierre, at this point, we're finalizing that investigation and we'll take the appropriate action.
Gotcha. Now, what are they doing, basically? They're running around, Steve, to these different sites and testing for what? Chlorine and chlorophyll, those 2 things? Chloroform?
Yeah, chlorine and chloroform. So our test takers go out into the field. We test over 360 sites across the city, take dozens of tests every day. So there's about 3,000 tests that we take in a given year. So we test a lot across the city. And what they're looking for specifically in these instances is residual disinfectant levels. We test that at the site with a handheld piece of equipment that's very simple to use. And then also we take samples that we digest and make sure that we don't have any living things in the water system, no chloroform or coliforms.
Yeah, little microbes, fecal, any of that. Now, how many sites? 300, you said?
Yeah, my understanding in talking through with our lab is that we've got over 360, I believe, sites across the city that we test.
And that's like Sewage and Water Board facilities, like pump stations and the like, and public, and private houses and businesses, right? That agree to be tested.
That's correct. Yeah, a mix of all of those.
And dozens are tested each day?
Yeah, there's over a dozen each day. We look to sample each site every other month so that we've got a good picture of what water quality across the city looks like.
How many people are out there in the field testing?
So usually we're running between 2 and 4 sample takers at a given time. Right now it's a little heavier because we have construction projects. So our sample takers don't just take for those compliance samples across the city, but we're also testing on construction projects. So before a contractor ties a main in, we've got our folks taking water samples to make sure that passes before we tie it into the system.
I don't need the names, but besides Ross, Pierre, and Percy, how many others are there?
Well, right now we've got one other sample taker, and then we've got a number of lab technicians and chemists that we have on staff that are helping cover some of those duties and make sure that we.
So the one sample taker can't be knocking out dozens a day, can they?
That's correct. So we've got some chemists and some of our lab technicians have really stepped up and are doing extra work, and we're very appreciative of those folks for helping us maintain sample integrity.
They're jumping in a sewage and water board vehicle and going out to different sites to test?
That is correct, yeah.
All right, so with that said, because that kind of makes a lot of clarification, Steve, that I didn't really get out of the Illuminator or Fox story. If you got 360 plus sites and dozens of them are being tested each day, I'm definitely not trying to cut, deviant behavior any slack, or you guys any slack, but 3 people screwing up and not doing the testing, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a story as it first seemed to be to me.
Well, statistically speaking, it's well, here's the important part, Corey. If we have even one test where this situation took place, it's very, very serious. And regardless of the level of issue that we've got, we want to take that allegation very seriously. We want to take the proper measures because we have to be above reproach. And the fact of the matter is the water in our system is safe. It's remained safe. LDH has come out and indicated there's no reason for concern. I drink the water daily. My wife and my children all drink the water daily. So our water system is safe. And to your point, I wouldn't disagree with that one iota, but we do want to be sure that when these sorts of things, when this was brought up to us, we take it very seriously.
No, I'm with you. I don't want anybody stealing an elbow of brass that works at the Sewage and Water Board. I don't want one test not being tested or falsified, or the guy going to Burger King instead of doing what he's supposed to do. I don't want anything. The Sewage and Water Board should be above reproach. The Sewage and Water Board, especially pre-Ghassan Corban, Cedric Grant, all these anointed, appointed jokers, it had a terrible reputation with a lot of people. It still does. I kind of follow it a little closer. I see the progress that's being made. I try to stay on top of it. But you're right, above reproach. But my point is, with 360 sites, dozens of tests every day, although what Fox and the Illuminator reported, I'm not trying to downplay it or say it's not significant. It is, and that's why you're here today. I joked with you before I put you on the air. Yeah, I was showering in fecal-laced water this morning, thanks to the Sewage and Water Board, and laughed. But it's not that at all. And any bad apple in the barrel's bad, and that can drift off to other apples too. And then you get back to where y'all used to be.
And if I can just take a quick minute to talk about reiterate that point that we've got 1,200 employees, the vast majority of whom are doing the right things at the right times, doing some of the most important work that we can do for the city. Because what the Sewage and Water Board does, it's not just providing clean water and conveying and treating sewage and conveying stormwater. All of those things provide the basis upon which businesses can thrive. Homeowners can build their homes and make a life. And it's a privilege for us to do it. And I am very proud to be a part of that. And I know that the vast majority of our team feels that way. So it is very disappointing to have individuals act in this manner. We take that very seriously. But yeah, I really appreciate that comment and would definitely second that sentiment that Ghassan has led a major charge here, and I feel very, very excited about where we're at and where we're headed.
No, he's one of the few legitimate people in city government, in my opinion, that clearly shows it day in, day out, isn't scared to be scrutinized or an audit from the IG or any of that stuff. Now, I went out and toured the plant a few weeks back, Steve, and it's amazing. Like the Turbine 4 from like 1910, it's over 100 years old. It was from Niagara Falls. Supposedly Thomas Edison's company built it. It's steam powered and it still works. And then right across the way is something that looks like from the nuclear age. It's like the 50s, like Korean War conflict era. So this thing's like 75 years old, and it's It's I guess gas powered, and that turbine with big General Electric on the side, old school. And then I go into the newest turbine 6. It is literally a General Electric jet engine from a plane that's just mounted into a building that is the turbine 6 at the Sewage and Water Board. I'm like, man, I'm seeing 3 totally different generations. The first turbines ever at this size, kind of the middle of age in the 50s, and something from 15 years ago, like a jet engine on a plane. It was just incredible to see those 3 things, and they all basically do the same thing. Just amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know if you've read.
It's as simple as this. We live in a bowl, and it's not just delivering water to homes and taking out the sewage like everywhere else in America. It's when it rains, you have to pump the water out, and nowhere else in America do you have to do that.
Yeah.
That's the big difference.
That is correct. Absolutely. One of the most complicated drainage systems anywhere.
Yep. That's amazing. And we're just getting started. If we ever get the retention ponds dug, and we might actually move this whole needle forward. And if the president follows through, we get a few billion more over on Claiborne, we'll be set.
Absolutely. An exciting time. We've got that power complex project that you mentioned where we are working on replacing those steam turbines, putting Entergy power on that'll make us more efficient. We've got the water hammer project with the towers that's reducing our risk and eliminating, at this point, citywide boil advisories. We've had some localized ones, but citywide. The smart meter project we've got going on, really, really exciting stuff.
Yep. Hey, Steve, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us again.
Yes, Corey, thank you. Much appreciated.
That's Steve Nelson, Deputy General Superintendent over at the Sewage and Water Board, filling us in on the latest and greatest on what's going on with the pumps. And I shouldn't say the pumps, the testing the water. And it was just good to hear that there's a lot more people doing it. There's a lot more test sites, and really no problem with the drinking water in New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. I would not move if I were you.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Yeah, you right. I was just checking out the Trey Yen lunch menu. It's crazy. They've got 17 different items, but there's a few like substitutions, like, believe it or not, and they need to put it on here, the Tong Cho chicken or Tong Cho pork or Tong Cho shrimp are not in here, but Tong Cho crawfish is. But you can get pork or chicken or shrimp, so that's like 3 more dishes. There's really about 20 different lunch specials, although 17 are listed here. Not $8.75, $8.50, $9.50, $9.50, $9.95, $9.95, $9.75, $9.75, $9.50, $9.75, $9.50. Oh boy, $10.50, $10.50, $10.50. One is $10.75. Most of these lunch specials are $8 and $9. There are 3 that are $10.50. There's one that's $10.75. Stir-fried fancy vegetables and steamed rice, mandarin chicken, green pepper steak, chicken and vegetables, shrimp with lobster sauce, Szechuan spicy beef, barbecue pork lo mein, sweet and sour pork, hot pepper chicken, lemon chicken, shrimp and broccoli, sesame chicken, crawfish with lobster sauce, Tong Cho crawfish, specialty of the day. It could be soft shell crab. Those are the lunch specials at fast food prices. It's not Chinese food, it's Chinese cuisine. And it is insane, the lunch special. Those to-go orders, when you get it, first off, when you're dining in, the pork fried rice, the combo fried rice, pork and shrimp's almost falling off the plate. Your entree's on one side, the rice is on the other. Almost all of it spilling off the plate. It's that much food. Seriously. I'm not exaggerating. It's almost spilling off the plate, like you guys either need to shrink the portions or get larger plates at Trey Yen. When you get one of the to-go containers, one of those white to-go containers, they're pretty heavy. There's some weight to those things. If you're an office manager and you're picking up lunch for 6, 8, 10 people, you can do it for 60, 80, $100, like $10 a head. And it's not a Chick-fil-A nugget platter that's cold or Subway sandwiches that aren't good. It's Trey Yen. It's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine for lunch. You need 50 lunch specials, $10 each. Do the math, about $500. You need 100. Feed your crew 100 people at work for like $1,000. $10 a head. Gourmet Chinese lunch specials, about 20 different ones to choose from. It's impossible to beat. Might be the best lunch deal anywhere on planet Earth. Seriously. It's like less than fast food prices in some instances. And you're getting Trey Yen Gourmet Chinese. They do it Tuesday through Friday. Check out those lunch specials. I just get one. Hot pepper chicken, tongcho chicken, crawfish and lobster sauce, something like that. But if you're an office manager, especially on the North Shore, call it in to Trey Yen, pull the vehicle right in front. They'll load it all up for you, curbside delivery. It's a no-brainer, those lunch specials, Tuesday through Friday, Trey Yen in Mandeville. So good. So good. Love it. Love Trey Yen. I live on the South Shore. I got a toll tag. I'm at Trey Yen once a week because I love Chinese food, and Trey Yen is excellent. The rain is slowed. We could get more. We'll see. Who knows? The weekend looks fantastic. Lower temperatures and sunny. The New Orleans City Council questions the benefits of owning, they're calling it a money pit, the Pontalba Apartments. How can the Pontalba Apartments seriously be nothing but a major asset for the city if they own it? I mean, if the city was smart, they'd get a company that, they're experts, their specialty. It's what they do. Apartments, retail. It's one of the most incredible buildings in the United States of America. It's essentially on the Mississippi River, in the heart of the French Quarter, literally on Jackson Square. It's got retail on the first floor and apartments on the second, third, and I guess up into the attic area. Huge wrought iron balconies, just beautiful architecture, gorgeous buildings, over 175 years old. Historic, like oldest apartment buildings in America, some of the prettiest examples of retail and living in one building anywhere. It's like Europe. It's special. It's there every day. We kind of overlook it. There are about 50 apartments. If the apartments, the average rent, about $5,000. Now, the ones up like in the attic, those could be rent controlled. Those could be like the $1,200 units. The ones that are on like Decatur with the curved balcony where you're looking at Cafe Du Monde, that's like a $10,000, $12,000 a month unit, and they'll get it all day long by a rich and wealthy person. All day long. Problem that they got at the Pontalba, both the city-owned and state-owned, it is a political joke. It's New Orleans and Louisiana politics at its absolute worst. There's a waiting list for both buildings, but outsiders with political connections jump the list all the time. There have been people, families, where the original person's name on the Pontalba apartment has been dead for decades, and they just pass it down to family members. And it's all approved, and it all goes. The majority of people that have a residence at the upper or lower Pontalba, the majority do not live there full time. There are legitimate people that live in the upper and lower Pontalba. They got on the list. They waited. They moved in. They understand the process. They watch people jump in front of them. When they had their chance to move up, they moved to a better apartment, and so on and so on. They've been there for years. They're legitimate. They're the very, very few. They need to do this right. I mean, I hate to say it, for the legitimate folks, there'd have to be a way to determine, like, who are the legitimate folks, sort of, that aren't politically connected, that worked their way up, that have been there for years, that actually, did it right and sort of earned their unit. They need some special consideration. But then it gets kind of iffy because then you'll get the political hack types that weaseled their way in getting special consideration. So I hate to say it, they probably need to just clear the Pontalbas totally, upper and lower. The state and the city probably should get a public-private partnership where millions of private dollars are invested in each building. And the city and state simply do some type of triple net lease where the tenant pays for the improvements, the upgrades, the insurance, the taxes, and the city just collects a nice premium every month. You have 50 apartments at $5,000 each. That's $250,000 a month. You got 16 commercial units at $10,000 each, and that's cheap. $10,000 for a commercial unit in the quarter. That's $2 million a year. That's $160 a month. $3 million a year for the apartments, $2 million for the retail. That's $5 million a year in income for one Pontalba building. No, they probably need to kick everyone out. Everybody. Because it's a joke. I know some people that have units at the Pontalba. They don't live there. It's like their weekend place. They're rich or wealthy or have connections and pretend to be rich or wealthy. And hey, you want to go to the Quarter? We can stay at my Pontalba unit. They go there like 3-4 days a month. Talk to the people that live at one of those buildings full time. No, it's a political mess. It's typical New Orleans and Louisiana politics at its worst. So they probably need to clear out each building. Everyone goes. Get an independent, autonomous group that monitors the buildings and gets a list of legitimate people that want to get one of the units. And you can be rich, poor, connected, not connected, but you're on the list and you move up accordingly. No one jumps the list. Not the governor's friend, lieutenant governor's friend, mayor's friend, council person's friend. No one. No one jumps the list. No, those corner units that, rent for like $3,000 a month, they could be getting like $9, $12, $13,000 a month in rent. They're coveted. There are rich and wealthy people that would love to have those units. Now, here's the kicker on those Pontalbas. You have like a coded lock system. So big man, big daddy, the man can monitor how often you come and go, strictly to make sure you're living there full time. You can't have a homestead exemption at your primary residence and you have a Pontalba apartment. I guarantee you the majority of people that live at the Pontalba, or shouldn't say live, that rent a Pontalba apartment, the majority of them have a homestead exemption at another house, their primary residence. The Pontalba apartment is simply a B house. It shouldn't be that way. It should be full-time living. City and state own them. You rent them out. You live there. It's not for rich and wealthy to have an extra apartment in the friggin' French Quarter. You're rich and wealthy. Go buy a unit somewhere or go rent a unit somewhere else on the free market. Don't get connected and get this primo spot that's rent controlled on Jackson Square. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you every weekday afternoon. Spread the word. Tell your friends and family. It's where New Orleans talks. Telling it like it is, like nobody else. You know it. I know it. The other radio talk show hosts know it. They can pretend. They can be in denial. All controlled. Always have to watch what they say. I've worked down the dial at different outlets. I produce my show. I come up with the topics. No one tells me, no boss telling me from upstairs how to do it. Somebody that doesn't know radio with a whacked agenda. There are people in this business that their key job, they wake up every day going to work fearing they'll be exposed, that reality will come into play and they'll get canned, and kind of just have a lot of other people's skeletons in their closet. I worked at this place down the dial. This one boss just knows a little bit about everybody. And it's funny, like I was kind of portrayed as sort of the black sheep of the group. I was the cleanest, most, you get a private eye on me, they'll go to sleep. All these other jokers that pretend they were the ones with all the deviant behavior. It was a trip. It was funny. This boss used to come in and just yell at me. Tell me to stop talking about this, stop talking about that. I realized doesn't know radio, has a weird agenda, wants to control me, not help me grow. It's not just radio and television. No, there's a lot of jobs, a lot of folks out there, different bosses you've had. You can relate exactly what I'm talking about. And then think about the business I'm in, radio and television, where you're going on air. You have to, I guess there's, quote, talent involved, use that word loosely. And so you get crazy egos. You get people with insane egos in this business. Clint Eastwood, the Dirty Harry character, man needs to know his limitations. Yeah, man needs to know his strengths and weaknesses, And, man, so many people in this business think their strengths are a lot stronger than they are and think they don't have any weaknesses. It's like, really? All right. You keep going with that. Every day we bring it from 4 to 6 o'clock. We're not scared. I don't befriend the people I'm covering. There's no party with politicians. I'm not friends with these guys and girls. I'm not. That's why I'm free to report the way it needs to be done. There's a responsibility being in front of this camera, in front of this microphone. So I bring it 110% every day. Today, my best. Tomorrow, better. No, it's like when I'm talking about different clients, go to Trey Yen. There's a trust involved. Same thing with what I'm talking about. You might be hardcore left, hardcore right. We may not agree all the time politically, but I'm coming from a righteous place, honor, integrity, ethics. We're trying for that, not the Edwin Edwards, Bill Jefferson, John Alario type mentality. Out for you. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, not the other way around. Boy, the Pontalba apartment, we'll talk more about that in the 5 o'clock powwow. The city's talking about maybe getting rid of the Pontalba apartment. It should just be a cash generator for the city by simply having some experts that know retail and apartments running it right, running it properly, maximizing it. Gail Benson's Fallberg Brewing to stop producing beer out in the East. Fill you in on that during the 5 o'clock powwow. Or the homeless encampment under the Pontchartrain Expressway along Calliope, basically shut down, fenced off, being patrolled. I throw a huge question mark after that statement. 25 homeless have already been placed in subsidized housing. The Lady Tigers. Boy, Michaela Williams, the true freshman today, put up 42 points, 32 in the second half. Nice victory. Boy, Michaela Williams, the true freshman, she is the real deal. You can just tell. There are players. I'm watching LSU women when they lost to Colorado. Michaela Williams was one of the few that was just relentless, attacking, effective, offense, defense. She's a difference maker, and she's 18. It's amazing. You know what else is amazing? Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, born and bred, based here in New Orleans. It's an amazing story. J.M. LePere inventing the shrimp peeling machine that to this day, always being improved, technological advancements in it, but it's still Latrim shrimp peeling machine. It is still number one worldwide, the industry standard everywhere, every continent, Asia, wherever shrimp are, it's a Latrim shrimp peeling machine. That invention led to the all-plastic modular conveyor belts. It could be Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Anheuser-Busch, Ford, Chevy, Mercedes-Benz. Think of anything going down a conveyor belt in the world at a manufacturing plant. If it's first class, it's probably on an Intralox belt from Latrim, this New Orleans company. They're located in Elmwood, about 1,400 employees there. They've got a few hundred employees at their North Shore facility on I-12. And because this company grows and expands worldwide every minute of every day of every week of every month of every year, literally all they do is hire people. Dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs. A job, a career for you at the website, Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Go check it out. No, it could be a life changer for you. What a great place to work. Some folks have been there for decades at Latrim. Truly a career. Latrim.com. Uh-oh. There he is. The world leader, the world champion, Blue Boy. What's up, buddy? What's that? 5 cents. You need $5. What? 5 what? Oh, 5 o'clock power hours next. It's sticky. Folks should stick around. All right, Blue Boy, I'm a little slow today. Sorry,
You're
buddy.
on the
Tough
neutral
on the
ground with Corey
translation.
Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk,
Good boy,
93.9 FM, WSLA New
boy.
Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Ooh, la, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, la, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Ella Brennan Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Incorporated.
It's time now for Laverne and Shirley. Rerun episodes from Laverne and Shirley. That's right, we're going back 45 years to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's the Happy Days spinoff. It's Laverne and Shirley. Today's episode takes place from the brewery, where Laverne and Shirley are quitting their jobs. Or maybe we'll head to La Jolla and hear from Mr. Drew Brees, number 9, instead. That's more like it. Thank you, number 9, for that daily introduction. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana. Drew Brees is right. Corey Johnson back at you. The Neutral Ground till 6 o'clock. 5:30 if you're checking us out on television. 2 big hours, 4 to 6 weekdays on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Live streaming. CoreyTalks.com, our website. We're on YouTube right now live, 4 to 6 o'clock, 2 hours live. You can check out after the fact, too. Like if you wanted to hear Steve Nelson, the Deputy General Superintendent of the Sewage and Water Board, discussing the lack of testing. These Sewage and Water Board employees are supposed to be testing the water, showing their logbook with maybe a dozen sites they tested that day, and their GPS in their car showing 3 sites they went to. So not getting the job done. We discussed all of that in the 4 o'clock hour. No, I love YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Go to YouTube. Go to the search bar. Corey spelled Kaare. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. You'll get a little update. Hey, Corey's on. Check it out. A little reminder. Stuff like that. Yeah, we're on YouTube every weekday. I mentioned television till 5:30. 2 big hours on radio, live streaming, and on YouTube. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour talk radio program, simulcast on television all over Louisiana. If you're a Cox Television subscriber like me, the number 1 provider of television in Louisiana, you can check me out every weekday, 4 p.m. to 5:30 on Cox Channel 4. 4 p.m., Cox Channel 4. That's Your View, Louisiana. If you're a Charter Television subscriber, a.k.a. Spectrum, that's Spectrum Channel 333, weekday afternoons 4 to 5:30. Yeah, you right. Make it a habit. It's different from anywhere else. Telling it like it is, not scared to go there. My only agenda is you. I don't befriend these politicians. I'm not a political power broker. I'm not a former FM disc jockey. This is what I do. talk radio for about 30 years, television, editorials, opinions, commentary, and the like. Yeah, you right. Rain kind of slowing down, but expected to continue through the night, sort of slowing down and ending tomorrow. Thursday, Friday, really good weather, but no rain, just sort of cloudy. Saturday and Sunday is supposed to be gorgeous. Sunny, cooler weather, a little cool front rolling in. Saturday morning, we wake up to about 60 degrees. The high temperature Saturday is 72. So we're going to be in the 60s all day Saturday. It's going to be sunny and gorgeous. Sunday, we wake up to 54 on the South Shore, and the high temperature about 67 and sunny. Gorgeous weekend. Hopefully we get more rain overnight because we could use it. We got to saturate the land, the ground. But pretty good rain, at least a long period of time where I think my lawn and plants got watered, but more importantly, farmers and people that really need the water. Plus, knocking the pollen out of the trees and knocking the dust off the houses and the streets and pushing it down the drains, kind of cleaning up our city. We need the rain. Speaking about our city, the New Orleans City Council questions the benefits of owning the Pontalba apartments. There's like 20 million, I believe. Is it 20? Maybe it's not that much. Maybe it's like 8 million in renovations needed. JP Morrell called it a money pit. JP Morrell doesn't own property, apparently. Maybe his home. If he owns rental property, I don't know why he'd call it a money pit, the Pontalba apartment. Maybe the city's just running it wrong. How about getting a private entity to lease it from the city and make it a triple net lease, meaning that tenant would have to pay the improvements and upgrades, would have to pay the taxes, would have to pay the insurance. The city would be fully covered, and they would receive a check every month doing nothing. The potential's there for outrageous money. Are you kidding me? There are 50 apartments making up the Upper Pontalba, the city-owned, and the Twin is across the way. The state owns the other one. 50 apartments, 16 commercial retail spots on the bottom floor. 16. Now, I'm just giving you an average price on the apartments. You could have the ones up in the roof with the low ceilings and the little window way up in the roof. Those would be your rent-controlled units. Those would go for, $1,200, $1,500 a month. The ones that are lower would go for more like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. And the ones that are like, with the curved balcony on the corner, you got on your balcony in the morning, you're looking across Decatur at Cafe Du Monde. That unit should go for about $15,000 a month. And you go, Corey, $15,000, who's going to pay that? A lot of rich and wealthy people would pay it. And here's the kicker. You have to live there. It's your permanent residence. I guarantee you, I will bet my radio and television job that the majority of people that rent a Pontalba apartment from the city or the state, upper or lower, the majority of them have a homestead exemption. Let me rephrase that. The majority of them that are Louisiana residents, that have a Louisiana driver's license, that vote in Louisiana, they don't register at that Pontalba apartment. They have a homestead exemption at their primary residence. No, the reason I say that, I don't know the percentage. It wouldn't shock me if it's 10, 15, 20%. I bet you it's at least 10%, double digits. Those units are rented by people that live out of state, that don't even live in New Orleans. It's their little New Orleans apartment. There's a list that you're supposed to get on and you move up. But there's so many people that rent a Pontalba unit that are politically connected. It's their little weekend unit. They might go there 10 times a year. They sub it out to other people and take money, or let friends from out of town take it for free. And then they go to the friends from out of town's Florida place or their ski lodge in Colorado. It is a scam. It's a joke. Now, here's the sad part. There's a small percentage of people that got on the list and did this right. They pay their rent. They're regular people. They've lived at the Pontalba for years, decades even. I hate to say it because of all the bad players. I just don't know how we could make an exception. Like, let's scrutinize the people that have been there for years that actually live there. I mean, it would be hard to do it. I'm all for doing it. I just think you'd have some scammers that are politically connected that would try to jump on board. But if you're all for it, I don't want to screw over the few people that got on the list. That is their home. They've been there forever. They pay rent on time. They've been there for decades. They're getting up in age. They don't deserve to be kicked out. But I don't know how you don't do it by not clearing house, by kicking everyone out. I'm all for trying to keep the righteous people in there. But the majority of people that are there, it isn't their primary residence. The majority of people, especially the good units, they finagled their way to them. They don't stay there. It's just wrong. It's wrong. Let some private folks come in. Let them lease the building from the city. You could have it where there'd be an independent group that would vet people on a list so no one could jump, no favoritism if you wanted. Make it triple net where the person leasing the building would pay for everything. Improvements, upgrades, insurance, taxes. Happens all the time. They're getting 50 apartments to rent, 16 commercial units to rent. There's lots of money to be made at the Pontalba. And the council called it a money pit. Yeah, it's because you don't know what you're doing with the Pontalba. It's because you don't know what you're doing. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. It's only one of the most historically significant apartment retail buildings in the United States, maybe the world. That's all. That's all it is. Coming right back.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants. Leidenheimer French bread. Fausto's on Vets opened their doors for dinner about 20 minutes ago. They will go till 9 p.m. tonight. Parking right in front. Outdoor dining. Under the awning, under the cover. White linen tablecloth outdoor dining. Sit at the bar. Check out the Pels on TV. Sit inside. Get a to-go order. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. Period. End of story. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets tonight for dinner. Open till 9 p.m. Tuesday afternoon edition of the program. A little rain, a little misty out there. It slowed a little. We could see more. We'll see. Supposed to definitely end by tomorrow. Thursday, Friday, kind of cloudy, but no rain and comfortable. And then Saturday and Sunday, just blue skies, sunny, cool, and comfortable. We'll wake up to 60 degrees on Saturday morning. We'll wake up, it'll be 54 on Sunday morning and sunny. That's some, yeah, you right weather. Steve Nelson, the Deputy General Superintendent at the Sewage and Water Board, joined us an hour ago in the 4 o'clock hour, talking about the Illuminator Fox 8 story. Basically similar to the city building inspectors, telling you where they went, what buildings they inspected. Then you look at their vehicle and check the GPS, and they didn't go anywhere near those locations. Some Sewage and Water Board employees that are supposed to be testing the water for chlorine. Too much of that would be a problem. Chloroform, like fecal matter, too much of that would be a problem. Testing the water, apparently, at least a trio, Percy, Ross, Pierre, folks that run around in their vehicles claiming to test the water like their job entails, and they're not doing it. The good news is, talking to Steve Nelson, there's zero tolerance for that. 2 of the 3 have been fired. They're working on the 3rd. They're supposed, he says they test about 360 sites, dozens of times each day. So it wasn't like the only folks that do it, they skipped a few places. And there are dozens and dozens of sites being tested every day, 360 test sites. So that is some good news that it's done a lot. But also, and even Steve Nelson from the Sewage and Water Board admitted you can't have this. There's private sites like Sewage and Water Board sites, and they're public people that own homes or businesses that allow the Sewage and Water Board to come test at their house. And there's some residents that say the Sewage and Water Board hadn't come to my house to test in years. So hopefully, Steve Nelson says they test a lot. He drinks the water. His wife drinks the water. His kids drink the water. It's safe to drink. The feds say it's safe to drink. Well, we won't be drinking much beer coming out of Faubourg Brewery in the East. Gail Benson's Faubourg Brewery to stop producing beer. Obviously, it's not working. They're not making money. They made a partnership with some Alabama company called Made by the Water. They own a handful of breweries in the South. They're a co-owner, I believe, of Gail Benson's Faubourg Brewery with her. But yeah, it's not working. I mean, the article doesn't make sense. Like, Made by the Water's like, Faubourg Brewery can't keep up with our capacity. It's like, it seems like, well, you'd either expand or have them maximize their capacity and then go somewhere else, but like shut down and do it somewhere else. It just doesn't seem to make sense. I'm not quite getting the gist of the article. Maybe when Michael Heck joins us on Friday from Greater New Orleans Inc., he can better explain what's going on. But to me, I mean, I think it's kind of obvious. It's not working. They're not making money. And Gail Benson and the Made by the Water group, they're like, why continue this when there's no end in sight? We're losing money every day, every week, every month. It's not working. That's all I can imagine that's going on. Hey, the homeless encampment under the Pontchartrain Expressway along Calliope, it's now gone, shut down, fenced off, supposedly going to be patrolled. I mean, I think that's kind of funny. You're going to patrol a fenced-off area under the interstate, but not parking lots when there are events at the Dome of the Arena, and not worry about carjackings or other things, but you're going to worry about a homeless encampment site that's fenced off where there are no homeless? Anyway, 25 so far homeless folks that were under that Pontchartrain Expressway have been placed in subsidized housing. The homeless folks, like the vast majority, are that they need medication. They have mental issues and they need to be medicated. They're adults. They may or may not have family. It's hard to, in the United States of America, to take an adult and force medication on them. But sadly, that is a major contributor to the homeless situation anywhere in America. A lot of mental issues, a lot of therapy and medication needed. Wow, the LSU Lady Tigers, they're playing Kent State. It's 39-37 at the half. LSU's favored by like 20-something points. They should just be ripping this team. They rip them in the second half, 70-42. They win by 30 going away. But the big story is Michaela Williams, the true freshman, the Louisiana product, a true freshman. 42 points, including 32 in the second half. 14 in the third quarter, 18 in the fourth quarter. 15 of 20 shooting. 5 of 8 from 3-point, 7 for 7 from the free throw line, 7 boards. Wow. Unbelievable. Michaela Williams. We're going to be hearing a lot more about this true freshman guard playing for Kim Mulkey's LSU Tigers, the defending national champs. That loss to Colorado dropped them to 7th. Dawn Staley in South Carolina back at number 1. Hey, I mentioned a cold front coming in, but I mean, it gets hot, it gets cold. We could get into the 70s. You're running air conditioning. You're running heat. You're not running the system at all. All I can tell you, if you turn on the heat or you turn on the AC, it's not working right, not working as well as before, making a funny noise, or worse off, not working at all. Don't stress out. I got an ace in the hole for you. It's so nice to have a company you can rely on that's dependable, that's honest, that are experts at what they do, and they come immediately if you're stressing out. That's River City's Total Maintenance, 40-plus years in South Louisiana with a sterling reputation. They're the best at what they do because it is fair and honest Lucas and the boys, incapable of screwing you around. They're air conditioning and heating experts. They diagnose it right away. And speaking of right away, if your AC or heat isn't working, they come immediately. NOLAAC.com is all you need to know. NOLAAC.com is all you need to know. When you know NOLAAC.com, you got your heating and air conditioning experts. You got folks that are honest that come right away. 30 plus years, sterling reputation. You don't have to remember all those details. Just know them. You can feel rest assured. All you need to know is NOLAAC.com, and you have confidence. The right choice. NOLAAC.com. Tuesday edition of the program. Rain slowing down. We could get a little more. No rain expected on Thursday and Friday. Saturday and Sunday, just bright sunshine and cooler temperatures. Outstanding weekend weather. Yeah, you right, weather. Hey, we're coming down to straight down 5:30 on a Tuesday. That means adios to the television audience. Hey, if you want to keep watching, you can check us out on YouTube right now till 6 o'clock. Check us out on the radio, 93.9 FM. Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333 viewers. Mañana. Yeah, we go 4 to 5:30 on television. And we go 4 to 6 o'clock on the radio, live streaming on YouTube. The New Orleans City Council questions the benefits of owning, quote, the Money Pit, the Pontalba Apartments. I like J.P. Morrell. I think he's smart. He doesn't have all the answers. And J.P. Morrell, I don't think, knows enough about the Pontalba. All he sees is, hey, it needs $8 million in fixes. You fix something, something else breaks. It's an old building, on and on and on. It's 175 years old. It's historic. It should be preserved perfectly. The state and city-owned Pontalba. Here's the deal. You lease the Pontalba out to a private investor or a group, and you have them sign a triple net lease, which a lot of businesses do. These things aren't absurd, or I'm asking too much. They're regular business dealings all the time. Triple net lease. That means the person leasing the Pontalba pays for the improvements, pays for the upgrades, pays for the upkeep, pays for the insurance, pays for the taxes. You could have a neutral party that decides if something has been neglected or whatever. The city would just get a check every year and retain ownership of this multi-million-dollar property. I mean, the Pontalba apartment with 50 apartments and 16 commercial spaces on the first floor, 175 years old, on Jackson Square, on the Mississippi River, in the heart of the French Quarter. What do you think that building's worth? It ain't $5 or $10 million.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home. From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
You're listening to The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Cotton Bowl winning coach Willie Fritz joining us on the program. Have you ever been part of a game that great?
A lot of things happen in the game. You just don't know the script. You got to adapt to improvise. You just got to keep playing hard the whole time, and our guys did an excellent job of that.
How big is yesterday for the overall future of the program?
You got to have a guy that really have a burning desire to get quality education and also be a great football player. You got to have focus.
You've always have embraced New Orleans. You've been a great ambassador for the city, for Tulane University.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My wife and I just love it here in New Orleans. And just everybody, the city's just sensational. We just a dime for a person who came up to me after getting, I had tickets in the old Tulane Stadium. And, I've heard that a ton of times. And letting you know, that's good that we're able to make some people happy.
That's Willie Fritz joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Roll wave.
The spirit of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
If you wear prescription eyewear or you need a great pair of sunglasses, Art and Eyes on Magazine is pretty incredible. I'll never go to another eyewear place as long as they're there. I used to do the usual, go to the mall, one of these, chain stores. Eyewear is expensive. There's no reason to get cheap knockoff garbage. This company, Luxottica, basically a mafia-controlled Italian eyewear conglomerate. They own pretty much every brand that you know. I used to like Persals. When Persals were owned by an Italian company, they were high quality. They're now mass-produced, parts made in China. And Luxottica will send parts made in China to Italy, assemble them in Italy, and then put made in Italy on the glasses, and they know they're not Italian made. Chinese garbage, like Persol. What was that other a really nice sunglasses I used to get? Italian made stuff like Persol. It's another name brand that has been scooped up by Luxottica. Pretty much any name brand, Ray-Ban, all these high-quality sunglasses from the olden days or prescription frames, they're owned by Luxottica now. It's all Chinese garbage. Art and Eyes on Magazine is different. They literally get the best eyewear, the best frames from the best designers in the world. Go to their website, Google Art and Eyes on Magazine in New Orleans. I never heard of half these designers. Like these frames. These are Jacques-Marie Mage, a French designer. They're handmade in Japan. And this is number 47 of 450 of these frames made. So I'm not going to bump into someone on the street. 450 of these made in the world. I got number 47. That's Art and Eyes on magazine. Eyewear from Japan, from Europe, like Germany and the United Kingdom. Eyewear from the United States, brands you've probably never, ever heard of. But when you pick up the frames and you see the high quality, I mean, from just the, products they use, it's the best available. Art and Eyes on magazine, sunglasses, prescription eyewear. It's like a shop you'd see in San Francisco, New York, or Paris. It's special. It's like a boutique. And it's got the best eyewear in the world. You'll never go back to the shopping mall if you go to Art and Eyes on magazine, especially if you're like me. You wear prescription glasses. You need them every day. Art and Eyes on magazine. What a great place. Literally, I was getting glasses, got a new prescription about 2 years ago, and I Googled, I forgot what I Googled, luxury eyewear in New Orleans. It wasn't like luxury eyewear, some like high-end. It wasn't any of that. It was like quality or something, and Art and Eyes popped up. Hadn't even heard of the store. They'd been there 10 years. They're on magazine, the Riverside of magazine, in between Louisiana and Napoleon, about a block from Lillet Restaurant across the street, a block down towards Napoleon. Art and Eyes. The rain slowing down, but then it picks up a little bit, but supposed to have it overnight, supposed to end tomorrow. It looks like it's going to end by tomorrow. Could be some cloud cover on Thursday and Friday, but no rain expected. And then sunny and bright on Saturday and Sunday, which means we might get sunny and bright on Friday. That meteorologist gig, I'm not saying they're wrong or they do a bad job. It's just I don't want to say it's an unproven science or something like that, but it's not perfected, that's for sure. And I don't know if it ever will be. And they're getting better and better with their predictions. I'm not busting on meteorologists at all. The weekend looks fantastic. Saturday, wake up at 60. The high is 72 only. Sunday, we wake up, it's 54. The high is 67. And sunny. Yeah, you right, weather. Yeah, I was talking about the New Orleans City Council going into that last break in the Pontalba apartment building. 50 apartments. If you got about 5,000 each, that's $250,000 a month. What's that, $3 million a year in rent? And you go, Corey, how are you going to average 5,000 each? Well, the ones on the top up in the roof, those would be rent controlled. Those would go for like $1,200, $1,500. All the other ones would be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. And the ones like on the corner, like you come out on that curved balcony and you walk out in your robe in the morning and Cafe Du Monde is right across Decatur, you're staring down at it. That's going for like $12,000, $15,000 a month, and you get it all day long because it's right there. It's one of the premier apartments in America. 2 stories, wraparound balcony on Jackson Square, 175-year-old Pontalba apartment, heart of the French Quarter on the Mississippi River. Are you kidding me? It's as premier, as elite as it gets. No, I like J.P. Morrell. I just don't think he knows apartments and this money pit like it's a negative. It's a historic building, 175 years old. The city should lease it out to some developer, and they sign a triple net lease. They're responsible for improvements, upgrades, all upkeep, insurance, taxes, and then they still pay the city rent. And they'll go, Corey, who would go for that deal? 50 apartments at $5,000 each on average is $250,000 a month, or $3 million a year. 16 commercial units. I'm being conservative at $10,000 a month. This is the French Quarter, Jackson Square. Are you kidding me? 16 commercial units at $10,000 a month. That's $160,000 a month. That's about $2 million a year. That's about $5 million bucks. $3 million from the apartments, $2 million from the retail. $5 million annually in income. Yeah, I think there'd be a private developer that would invest tens of millions of dollars into the Pontalba if they had a long-term lease. With that kind of money generated, no doubt. Pay their note, make a big profit, and have control of that building. And the beautiful part is the city gets a big check every month. They don't have to worry about upkeep insurance. They get tax revenue also. And they still retain ownership of the building. The problem with the city-owned and state-owned Pontalba right now, besides upkeep, it's too much of a scam. There are too many politically connected people that have apartments there, that rent apartments there. The vast majority of them that are Louisiana residents, they have a homestead exemption at their primary residence. First off, the Pontalba apartments, it should be waiting list. It should be an independent group that controls that waiting list, and it's legitimate. No one pulls political, favors and gets moved in. And there are a lot of people through the years that have pulled political favors. And that apartment, for a lot of folks, for rich and wealthy folks, it's like their B, C, or D apartment. Hey, I got the Pontalba apartment in the quarter. They sublease it out and take money illegally. Or worse, they let friends stay there. And then their friend owns a condo in Florida they use for free. Or a friend owns a ski lodge in Colorado, in Aspen, they use for free. Or a fly fishing camp in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and they use it for free because the other people are coming down and using their Pontalba. A lot of value in that. A major apartment building on Jackson Square in the French Quarter. So no, there's too many politically connected scam artists, entitlement mentality people that have leases at the city and state-owned Pontalba and rarely, if ever, stay there. Now, I'd like the people that legitimately moved up on the list. They're probably people that have been in there for years, for decades, that legitimately moved up on the list, that pay their rent on time every month. I don't want to kick them out. There's got to be a way to scrutinize it where the legitimate people stay. The illegitimate people have no way of crossing the line and falling on that legitimate side and staying. If not, you have to clear out the whole building, all tenants. Maybe try to give some preferential treatment to those that have been there decades that are legit. It's just difficult because the majority's not legit. Ask the few legitimate people. They'll tell you. People are rarely there. The most of the units, it's a secondary house. They let their friends stay there, break all kind of rules. Shouldn't be that way. Should be primary residence. You rent it, you live there, you stay there. It's your primary home. You don't have homes elsewhere. And yeah, I rent a Faubourg apartment. I'm there 3 months a year. No, you don't. Then you don't rent the Faubourg apartment. It is your permanent home. We'll find a resident that lives here, that works here. Yeah, you're allowed to go on vacation, do whatever you want, but it's got to be your primary resident. Can't be pulling a homestead exemption somewhere else. And it's for New Orleanians, not folks that live in Baton Rouge, have a Pontalba apartment for the weekend. And it's not for out-of-towners either. There's so many things broken and wrong going on at the Pontalba apartments. And it's so beautiful. And they're historic. And they're wonderful. And they're 175 years old. They should be well-kept gems. One of the beautiful things in New Orleans. Like Leidenheimer Baking Company. One of the beautiful things in New Orleans. And that Leidenheimer French bread. Now, I can't overstate it. You know I'm right. You pull that little loaf out the oven, piping hot, room temperature butter. It's hard not to eat the whole loaf. Po' boy sandwich. It's not a legitimate real New Orleans po' boy if it's not served on Leidenheimer French bread. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. Leidenheimer French bread. Since 1896, over 125 years, part of New Orleans, Leidenheimer Baking Company.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right, Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you till 6 o'clock. The Pels are in action tonight at the Smoothie King Center, playing the Dallas Mavericks again, back-to-back. They lost Sunday night at home to Dallas. They'll do it again tonight, the Mavs, at the Smoothie King Center. The second of 6 straight home games at the Blender. Already 0-1. You got to be like 4-2, which means you got to go 4-1 like the next 5, 4-1. You can't go 3-3, 500. The NBA, the toughest place to win is on the road. At the end of the season, you have 30 NBA teams. You might have less than 10 with winning records. Sometimes it's 10, 11, maybe 12. Last season, I think it was like 7 or 8 NBA teams with winning records on the road. On the road. Like 22 out of 30 had losing records on the road. So, no, you got to protect home court. Pels on this 6-game homestand got to go 4-2. They're already 0-1. They really need to split with the Mavs tonight. That would be huge. You know where you can check out the Pelicans tonight? Katie's in Mid-City. It's the best sports bar anywhere. You want to know why? Because it's not a sports bar. It just happens to have a bunch of flat screen TVs with all your favorite sports action on them. But unlike some sports bar with lousy food, Katie's is a taste of New Orleans. Big portions, great for sharing. New Orleans specialties, old school, from po' boys to pizzas, all kind of New Orleans goodies. A Mid-City mainstay. It's the sports bar that isn't. It's Katie's in Mid-City. Great food, great people, lots of flat screen TVs. Check out the Pels tonight at Katie's in Mid-City. Don't forget about Francesca Deli in Lakeview, Scott Craig's other place. Fantastic sandwiches, great pizza, flat screen TVs there too. Family-oriented Francesca Deli right there on Harrison Avenue in between Canal Boulevard and West End. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Yeah, you right. Thanks so much for joining us. A lot going on. New Orleans City Council questions the benefits of owning the Pontalba. Don't do a land swap with the state. Get a private investor to triple net lease the building from you. You accept a check, you accept taxes, and you have a way to maintain the building that doesn't cost you any money. And outside investors would love it. 50 apartments, 16 retail slots. Are you kidding me? Gail Benson's Faubourg Brewing out New Orleans East to stop producing beer. I don't even get the article. Made by the Water is an Alabama brewer. They partnered with Gail Benson. I think it's a 50-50 partnership. They own several other breweries in the South. They say that the Faubourg Brewery out in the East can't keep up on production. So it seems like you would just maximize production there, either expand that existing facility or maximize production there and then go somewhere else too. But instead, they're just shutting it down and going somewhere else. So that doesn't make sense. What I think the real deal is for Gail Benson and Made by the Water, my opinion, my guess on this, it's not working. They're not making money. Day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, they lose money. And there's like, we don't see a way out of this. So this Made by the Water and Gail Benson, this partnership, I don't know if it's being dissolved or not, but they're not brewing any beer out in New Orleans East anymore. This thing was supposed to be the opposite. A bunch of independent little microbreweries consolidating into that one place and growing, brewing more beer, expanding the facility, creating more jobs. No, I just think it's pretty simple. It's not working. That's it. It's not working. It's not making money. Period. End of story. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. will join us on Friday. Maybe we'll get some answers from him on this because that didn't make sense. We can't keep up on production. Like the facility's too small. It's not state of the art. It's not new enough. That doesn't make sense. Something different, like not making money. It ain't working. Hey, the homeless encampment under the Pontchartrain Expressway has been shut down, fenced off. 25 homeless people have been placed in subsidized housing. Hey, guys, Thanksgiving, a week from this Thursday, 9 days away, Thanksgiving. That means Christmas is a month after that. Holiday season is upon us. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, guys. She wants real natural diamonds. She doesn't want man-made, lab-created diamonds from China. She wants the real McCoy. Diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, even diamond engagement rings. And Friend and Company Fine Jewelers literally has every price point taken care of. You want to spend thousands of dollars? They got you covered. Tens of thousands of dollars? They got you covered. North of $100,000. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers has jewelry items, diamond jewelry items for north of $100,000. I'm not kidding. And I'm not kidding when I say this. They have an entire room full of diamond stud earrings, tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, even engagement rings, real natural diamonds, everything in that room under $1,000. Like I said, price point for everybody. Go see Ken Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, real natural diamonds, Maple Street in between Carrollton and Broadway. Or I should say Broadway and Carrollton because Maple Street's one way that way. In the Carrollton section of Uptown by the river bend, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. What's that, Blue Boy? Even though it's a Tuesday, Lebanon's Cafe in the Riverbend's reopened now on Tuesday. You're right. 7 days a week from Lebanon's. We could go tonight. Lamb chops. See you mañana.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.